Greetings to all of humanity. It's really a joy, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to be here once more this morning and greeting you in love, bringing the message of emancipation to you, a message that would set you free. And this message is pointing you to look inwardly, to discover your true identity, to be your divinity. Thus the reason why I always give you the basis of my teaching, and the basis of my teaching comes from the scriptures. It is said that all scriptures was given from inspiration. And you know, if you're going to be inspired, it have to first be a thought. So the basis of my teaching is that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. That the Bible is not literal, neither is it secular history. But the Bible was written symbolically, and many are taking personification for persons and allegory for history. So in order for me to help you in that way, I want to go to the scripture in Genesis chapter 1 and show you what it is really speaking about psychologically. Because many people believe in a God outside of themselves or a power outside of themselves, and they fail to realize that Genesis actually spelled Genesis, which means genes is, which means from a seed. Everything begins from a seed. Everything begins from a gene. And when you look at the whole thing psychologically, a word is a seed. That's why it tells you in the Bible that a sower went out to sow seed. It didn't mean he had literal seed and planting literal seed. He was speaking. And as he was speaking, some was believing and some wasn't believing. That's why he was basically teaching you. So he teaching you that in a parable when he said that the sower went out to sow seed. And many preachers just use that scripture to say that it really referring to them who is sowing the seed and bring the gospel to the people, and some rejecting it and some accepting it. Okay? So you see right there, I'm showing you something that is not new to you. This is something that each and every person who have ever heard any preacher preach. You know, they always preach a message of the sower that went out to sow seed. Okay? And so, now, Genesis is the beginning. Genesis is the seed. So if you do not understand Genesis, you'll never understand Revelation, which means you will never even understand the other books. That's the reason why I'm going to take it from Genesis and show you something. And what I'm showing you, what I'm going to show you is not something I'm showing you to believe me. It's something that I'm going to actually give you a test, that you could test for your own self and prove what I'm saying is the truth. No, yes. And nobody else can know but you, only you alone. Because I'm going to show you what you could do at home by yourself alone and prove what I am saying for your own self. And when you prove that for your own self, nobody can say, well, I indoctrinate you and I tell you something. You understand what I'm saying? Because I don't want you to believe me. Because when you believe something, it means you can't prove it. But if you could prove something, there's no belief. That's the evidence. You know the evidence. If I tell you, I have this pudding, I just bake this pudding, could you say, they're so delicious, they're so sweet, and you never really eat them? The only how we can know that they're delicious and they're sweet is if you have eaten them. So the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So if I'm saying something and I give you a test and you never do the test, how could you say whether what I'm saying is the truth? No, yes, when I'm actually giving you a literal test. This is not a preacher telling you something now and tell you accept what you say. I'm telling you I can give you a test. So I'm going to go to Genesis 1. Chapter 1, verses 1, verses 2. I'm going to read it for you and I'm going to explain it to you, and then I'll give you a test to test for your own self. Okay? This is what it says. In the beginning, God. Now, if we tell you in the beginning, God, and God is invisible, then it is teaching you from eternity to time. Because God is not trapped in time. So eternal, anything that is eternal is invisible. Everyone talking about God, but they can't point and show you that it's God. Because it's invisible. Now the words that I'm speaking from my mouth, you're hearing them, but you're not seeing the words. You're not seeing the words, but you're hearing the words. And where are you hearing the words from? From within. Not from out here. From deep within. And I'm looking through this camera and you're looking at me. And where you seeing me from? It's from within. So everything is taking place from within. That which is within is invisible. Just like the air we breathe. So when you say God breathed the breath of life into man, it's teaching you about the very breath that you're breathing. That's the life. That's the soul. It is invisible. So when you learn that, you come to realize that we are only a spirit having a human experience. We are not a human trying to be spiritual. We are already spirit. That is why when we worship, we have to worship in spirit and in truth. How can we worship in spirit and in truth if we do not know that we are spirit? Which means a spirit have no beginning and you have no end. So death is not real. Okay, now you understand that, then you understand where we're going to take you now. So he's saying God. So if there was only God, then who are we? Many people always say to me, I'm a child of God. I say, okay, if you're a child of God, let us just look around. The child of a donkey just grow it to become what? An adult donkey, right? A little sheep, you call it a lamb. And that lamb will grow up to become a full sheep. You call a kid from a goat. And you go right up into a what? A full-fledged goat. A calf is the young, the child of a cattle. And you go right up to be that adult cattle. Now if you're a child of God, what are you going to do? You're going to remain a child of God till the day you die? You don't have to come to grow up to know that you are God in flesh. And if you speak against God in flesh, you're antichrist. Because Christ is a higher self. So anyone who do not believe that God came in this flesh, they are antichrist against the self. And the preachers have put it another way for people to think it is talking about a man 2,000 years ago. But it's you when you deny yourself, your Christ self. When you deny your power. So that's why I'm going to show you that you are the creator right here in the Bible you're talking about. And not somebody outside of yourself. Because when you believe in somebody is outside of yourself, you believe in an image. You believe in an idol. That's why you don't get answers. And that's why I'm going to show you what to do. And prove whether you're going to get answers. No, yes, if you ever pray. Because I'm going to show you when you pray to a God outside yourself, that's why you don't get results. And that's why church people don't get the results. And there are promises upon promises that have been promised in the Bible and they're not living the promise. And I'm going to show you how to live the promise. So he said, in the beginning, God. So he's telling you eternity was forced before time. Spirit before this physical body. Then he's showing you from eternity. He's showing you divine mathematics. Why? It starts with zero. Everything starts with zero. As zero is a circle. That is eternal. Teaching eternity right there. Everything starts from that. That's where the real start be. Okay? Then you come into time. And you say, no. In the beginning, God created. No, how we just create? The dog, the cat, the rat, the pig, the birds, they don't create. They can't create. Why do they can't create? Because they can't speak. And they can't reason. And they can't use their imagination. And they can't use their will. They can't use these faculties that we are born in this world with. That they don't want you to discover. We're born with them. And those are the things we have to use to create. And then that's why I'm going to teach you how you could create. And when I teach you how you can create and you create something for your own self, then you know why I'm talking is the truth. When you say God created the heaven and the earth, it is teaching you that you are the one who can choose to be above or you can choose to be below. Heaven is above, earth is below. So you can either live from down here or you can live from up here. You can live from the place of the mind. I can live at the place of what society have you to believe and how society have you to think. So it's as if you thinking for your own self. Because unless you start to think for your own self, you can't create. Because when you're born in this world, you didn't know that you're born. When you was a month old, did you know you exist? 3 months old, did you know you exist? No. 6 months old, did you know you exist? No. So if you didn't know that you exist, everything that you come in this world and you meet, you get it from somebody else and you never question it. So if you never question it, you can't go no further than that. Your mother and your father could only teach you what they know. And your teachers in school could only teach you what they know. And your pastors could only teach you what they know. But what about what you know? What you know for your own self? How could I believe in a creator and I can't create? So basically, the only things that an animal can do, that we can do, is speak and reason. So if a person is living the life, and all they're doing is living on the 5 senses, where they could only see, taste, touch, smell, and so on. The animal does do all of that. So it means when you live like that, you live at the level of the animals. When you can't create, when you don't learn to create and realize that you are the creator because your thoughts is what creating your reality. You live at the level of the animals. A man can't go and steal and he wasn't thinking about stealing before. It all begins with a thought. A man can't go to church and say you're going to preach on a pulpit and he wasn't a thought in his mind before. So it's one power we use in, one creative power to create. Because I'm pointing you to show you that God is within you. God is the very life within you. Life was always false. Life can't die. Life could only transform. That's why we transform. You remember that time we couldn't walk? We couldn't talk? See, I'm showing you. So we all, as I was saying, hey, we born in a state of forgetfulness, a state of amnesia. That's why none of we could remember when we was a month old. But when you reach a certain level of consciousness, you could actually go back and see when you're born, you know, and know when you're born. I told my mother that she think I'm crazy. You get what I'm saying? But there's a higher level. You could go right back. You can have memory and know exactly who you are and know what kind of power you have. But they don't want you to discover how powerful you are. Because when you understand how powerful you are, you realize you can create what you want. And that it is you who creating your world. You're the one who's creating your world. Okay? And then it goes on to verses 2. He said, and the earth was without form and void. Now, when you have a thought in your mind, it is without form, it is void. You can't touch it. You can't taste it. You can't handle it like how I can handle something here right now. When you have a thought in your mind, nobody could see it. Nobody could taste it. Nobody could smell it. Nobody could touch it. But when you have that thought and you act upon the thought, you put action to that which you can't see. You put action to the invisible. Then that's how it will become visible. That's how you create. So let me go on here. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. When you close your eyes, the first thing you'll behold is darkness. You'll behold everything that is void. He said, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. The Spirit within you have to move upon that which you believe to be true. The water represents truth. It's a symbol of truth. So when you act and you put action to that which you can't see, You're operating in faith. For faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That's why it tells you that the world was formed by faith. In Hebrews 11, I believe, yes. By faith. That's how the whole world was formed. They tell you that. So he said, yes, and the Spirit of God, which is you are spirit, moved upon the face of the waters. That what you believe to be true, you act upon it. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And that's the main thing I really want to really highlight and speak about. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Manifestation. So it is thought, action, and manifestation. It's teaching you right here in these three first verses. Thought, action, manifestation. That is creation. So it's saying God created the invisible, brought forth the visible. That's what it's teaching you there. The invisible brings the visible. Out of darkness comes light. Out of nothingness comes everything. The all. And we are the all. We are the universe. We are God experiencing itself. The universe experiencing itself. God in flesh. So he said, God said, let there be light. And there was light. God is light. God replicated himself. Because whatsoever you sow, that also shall you reap. So you have to accept your God self as the creator, as the Lord and master of your own destiny. Because you understand that it is your thoughts that is creating your reality. And that you can use your thoughts to create your reality consciously. You understand in mind power. You understand how the mind works. You understand how the brain works. You understand everything is energy, vibration, and frequency. And you know how to align your thoughts. Because you know that your thoughts is a vibrational frequency. You know the brain is a receiver and a transmitter of energy. And you can take that energy and send that energy to all of humanity. So you bring value to all humanity. Uplifting humanity. So my brother and my sisters, I can go on and break down everything here in Genesis. But if you do not understand the first 3 verses in Genesis, you would never come to realize that you are the creator. You would never come to realize that the Bible is your own biography. And that is teaching you alchemy. All about yourself. Teaching you how to understand your own physiology. How to understand your body. How to understand that you are the temple of the living God. How to understand this is the outer man. And the story here that you're reading is of the inner man. That's why you have to be of the inner man to understand. So with all of that being said, my brother and my sisters, and I would have laid the foundation that the Bible addresses the human mind and must be interpreted psychologically. That is not literal, neither is it secular history. Right there I show you. From thoughts to manifestation. Thoughts, action, manifestation. Spirit using all the elements. When I go on, I show all of the elements. So, with that being said, my brother, my sister, I want to thank you very much for listening to me, and I want to encourage you, if this message is resonating with you and you haven't shared it as yet, to share it. Or if you haven't commented as yet, to comment. If you haven't liked, to like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you haven't gotten my books, go and get my books. If you haven't put what I'm saying to work, put it to work. Because this is not based on belief. This is based on doing something practical. So my brother and my sisters, just before you go to bed, write down that what you would like to manifest and read it to yourself. And then go close your eyes and go into your imagination. Of course, you'll have to use your breathing. And imagine that what you like to see manifest in your life. That what you like to experience. And fall asleep with that intention. Wake up in the morning and give thanks and imagine it again. And you can do that for as long as you want. A person can do it for 3 days, they can do it for seven nights. They could do it for a week, they could do it for 2 weeks, they could do it for a month. They could do it for 2 months. They could do it for 3 months. To prove for themselves. At least give themselves at least 3 months or 100 days or even 90 days to prove that my teaching, whether it is wrong or right, when I teach that imagination creates reality, and that you can use your imagination to create your reality consciously, and that is the creation story, right in Genesis 1, verses 1 and 3. Teaching you how to create. Teaching you that a word is a thought expressed and you have the word in your mouth to speak it, to create your reality. So yes, my brother and my sisters, I just want to remind you that this message I bring to you is the single eye message of self-realization, of which Matthew 6:22 teaches us that if your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. And hadn't it been that I would have had that experience, where I would have awakened within myself like a fiery being and hold the wind and ascend up on the high and exit my skull and became invisible and realized I've been sent to teach you the message of the invisible, I wouldn't have been here bring this message of emancipation to you. That's the reason why I always give you the symbol of the single eye, but putting my hand on my crown chakra, knowing I would have gone beyond my crown chakra. And I always say to you that when you have the experience, you'll come to realize that it is the rising of the S-U-N in a S-O-N, and that it is the dawning of a new day in your life. Also, you come to realize that the sun, as in the S-U-N, parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. And the sun is what powers all of humanity. Therefore, when we look more closely, we see without the sun there is no life and there is no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. And the Bible refers to the sun as the Lord thy God. And it says that he's a shield, and no good thing will he withhold from you. And that's in Psalms 84:11. And in Malachi chapter 4 verses 2, it also says that the sun, as in the S-U-N, of righteousness shall arise in you with healing in his wings. That's the reason why, my brother and my sisters, I always say to you to use your mind power, which is your solar power, your God power, your creative power, to achieve your every desire and prove that you are the Lord and Master, the creator of your destiny. So with that being said, I want to say peace, love you all, I'm out.